The Lakers beat the Clippers on the second night of a back-to-back. They were missing two key players in Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, and they managed to improve to a 5-game win streak. Right now, the Lakers are looking unstoppable. But what's the reason for this? Well, it's not just one reason. I'm going to give you 3. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers and other sports content. As I stated earlier, I believe there are 3 reasons as to why the Lakers have become one of the hottest teams in the NBA. The Lakers currently have a 5-game win streak, which is tied for the best in the Western Conference. They've currently won 8 out of their last 10 games, and for the month of February, they have a record of 10-2. And throughout that stretch, they beat at least 6 teams that had an above 500 record. So again, what are the reasons behind the Lakers' recent success? Well, shockingly enough, the first reason we can all agree on, and that's defense. Dating all the way back to January 15th, which by the way is over a 20-game sample size, the Lakers not only have the best record in the NBA at 17-4, but they also have the best defensive rating in the NBA at 107.3. Now for the entire month of February, the Lakers are tied for second for the best record in the NBA at 10-2, and they still have the best defensive rating in the NBA at 107.2. Now the month of February is particularly important because that is an entire month of games being played without the likes of Anthony Davis, and the addition of who is perceived to be one of the worst defenders in the NBA in Luka Doncic. Now, a lot of you are probably asking yourself, how is this even possible? Well, I'll tell you. Since the Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic trade, the Lakers have mostly converted to a small ball lineup. But here's where things get interesting. This so-called small ball lineup consists mostly of players like LeBron James, who's 6'9", Rui Hachimura, who's 6'8", Jared Vanderbilt, who's 6'9", and Dorian Finney-Smith, who's 6'7". And conveniently enough, all of these players have a wingspan that's either close to or above 7 feet. So this small ball lineup isn't exactly small at all. The Lakers have gone away from a true big model and have found a way to successfully utilize their wing depth to focus more on speed and agility, which naturally just brings more intensity to the defensive scheme as a whole. With the additional efforts of players like Jordan Goodwin, Trey Jamison, and even Jackson Hayes, who is a legit 7-footer, but whose tendencies resemble still more of that of a wing player, it's actually working. Over this 5-game win streak, Lakers opponents have a combined average of 101 points scored. Holding teams to nearly 100 points per game in this modern NBA is remarkable. So yes, the defense has been a huge piece to the Lakers' success, but it's not just the defense, which leads me into my second reason. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, obviously it's Luka Doncic. Now, don't get me wrong. Having Luka on the court automatically makes things a little bit more difficult for the opposing team. But truth be told, Luka has actually been struggling since he's gotten to the Lakers, pretty much seeing career lows across the board. The truth is, he did spend 6 weeks away from the game recovering from the injury. And in my opinion, I think a part of him is still recovering from the physical, mental, and emotional toll of all the drama between him and the Dallas Mavericks, which is understandable. So trust me, we have yet to see the best of Luka Doncic in a Lakers jersey. The second reason is actually LeBron James. So far this season, LeBron James is averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. And that's on 52% from the field and 40% from 3. Those numbers alone are all NBA worthy, but that doesn't really do justice for how superb LeBron James has been ever since the acquisition of Luka Doncic. Here are LeBron James' averages prior to the All-Star break. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and about 1 steal and a half a block per game. And again, that's on 52% from the field and 40% from 3. However, since the All-Star break, LeBron James is averaging 30 points per game, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and a little over 1 block and 1 steal per game. And that's on 55% from the field and again, 40% from 3. I'm sorry, but those are MVP type numbers. And in my opinion, that's not even the most impressive part. Since the All-Star break, we've seen a defensively engaged 40-year-old LeBron James that rivals some of the best that we've seen in the NBA. Prior to the All-Star break, LeBron held a defensive rating of 113.9. Post All-Star break, LeBron holds a defensive rating of 104.4, which is just absurd. So yes, LeBron James has been heavily impacting the success of this team on both the offense and defensive end. But beyond that, he's actually heavily contributing in the clutch. So far this season, LeBron James is currently ranked second in the NBA in total points scored in the fourth quarter, with 374. Across 53 games, that's about an average of 7 points. Now, since the All-Star break, LeBron is ranked first in the NBA in total fourth quarter points at 62. Across 6 games, he's basically averaging double digits scored in the fourth quarter. And I'll take it one step further. Nobody else in the top 10 in this category is over the age of 30. Dog, this is madness. I don't know what else to say about LeBron, man. The fact that he's currently top 5 in MVP voting at the age of 40 honestly says it all. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button. It'll help the video out a ton. And make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Now, before we get into my final reason as to why the Lakers are on such a hot streak, let's do a small recap. The Lakers have definitely been hanging their hat on their defense to win a lot of these games, while the offense tries to find its rhythm and Luka Doncic reaches his peak form. And of course, LeBron James, who has truly been playing at an MVP level. I think he really understands just how good this team can be and wants to hit the ground running as they head into the playoffs. So, my third and final reason as to why the Lakers have looked unstoppable lately has to be JJ Redick. JJ Redick has coached his team to a 37-21 record. That's 16 games above 500, which is the most since the 2020 season, which is the last year we won the championship. Now I can get into the whole night and day difference between how JJ is coaching this team this year and what we had to deal with last year under coach, well, you know who. But I'm not going to get into all that. I want to focus on how impressive JJ has been this season. Going into the summer, a lot of people asked me how I felt about the JJ hire. Now, to be perfectly honest, I felt Phil Handy should have at least gotten an interview or a shot at the job, and I expressed that to a lot of people. However, once JJ did land the job as head coach, that was the least of my worries, and I told that to pretty much everyone. And the reason behind that is I felt he had all of the intangibles necessary to properly coach this team. Yes, we all knew that JJ had no professional coaching experience, but we also knew that JJ is one of the greatest college basketball players ever. And when he got to the NBA, he became one of the best three-point shooters in the league and was also known as one of the most competitive players in the league. He went on to have a successful NBA career and eventually became a success as an NBA analyst and podcaster. Between those two venues, we really got some insight into his preparation, his hard work, and his knowledge of the game. Watching those interactions between him and LeBron James and seeing them break down the game of basketball really gave you a preview as to how much of a self-appointed basketball sicko he really was. Watching his post-game interviews and even his antics on the court, you can really tell that he has a genuine passion for his job and for his players, which is something that we've been missing for quite some time. And I'll leave it on this last note. JJ Redick throughout his career was known as more of an offensive player. So watching him draw up these defensive schemes that have been nothing short of elite has really been impressive. Now obviously we have to give some credit to the rest of his coaching staff, but ultimately it tells me that he genuinely has the buy-in of this entire roster and these guys are willing to fight like hell for him. That speaks volumes to JJ Redick and how his hard work, his passion, and his leadership has had a tremendous effect on the success of this team. Between the defense, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and JJ Redick, this Lakers team is a force to be reckoned with, and there's a good chance they just might walk away with a title this year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, go ahead and drop a like. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next one. Here.